Welcoming you all to the GATE class on structural analysis. In this video, we are going to see some hints about moment distribution method and slope deflection method in respect of competitive exams. So in the previous video, we have discussed about the sustained moment, which has very much importance towards the moment distribution method and slope deflection method. So in this video, we will see some other terms which are related to moment distribution method and slope deflection method. So starting with moment distribution method. So moment distribution method is also known as Hodgkin's method. Moment distribution method is also known as Hodgkin's method. So the major terms related with moment distribution method are stiffness, distribution factor, and carryover. So in respect of GATE exam regarding this moment distribution method, you will be having questions regarding how to find the fixed moment of the given loading condition, or you will be given a frame with a sway condition or without sway condition. You will be asked to find out the sway factor and all. Apart from that, you will be asking questions regarding the basic terms such as stiffness, distribution factor, and carryover. What will be the relative stiffness of that particular joint? So we will see what that kind of questions in this video. Starting with stiffness. So stiffness is nothing but it is the force or moment required to be applied at a joint so as to produce unit deflection or rotation at that joint. So consider a beam. So let us be a cantilever beam. So let us be unit deflection. So moment required to obtain unit rotation, or force required to obtain unit deflection. When there is a term deflection, then force is to be applied. To produce rotation theta, moment is to be applied. So stiffness is nothing but it is denoted by the small letter K. K is equal to F by del or M by theta, where F is the force required to produce unit deflection. So consider this cantilever beam, we are applying a force here. So what amount of force I have to apply to produce a unit deflection? That relates the term stiffness. Force required to be applied at a joint so as to produce unit deflection. Or else we can say that moment required to produce unit rotation. So rotation is represented by theta. Moment required to produce unit rotation at that joint. So next, stiffness of B. Stiffness of a beam. So consider a propped cantilever. So propped cantilever is nothing but a support provided at the free end of the cantilever beam to reduce the deflection or to prevent deflection at the free end. So what will be the deflected shape? As it is fixed to the end, there won't be any theta here. So the deflected shape will be like this. So here it is theta. So this is end A and this is end B. So the deflected shape indicates that there is an application of anti-clockwise moment here. There is an application of anti-clockwise moment here. If a clockwise moment is applied, what will be the deflected shape? If a clockwise moment is applied, the deflected shape will be like this. So this indicates there will be a clockwise moment, but in this condition, an anti-clockwise moment is applied. And the stiffness is, we know this moment is equal to 4EI theta by L. And we know stiffness is equal to M by theta. M is equal to 4EI theta by L into theta, which is equal to 4EI by L. So the stiffness of the member BA when the farther end A is fixed. Stiffness of the member BA when the farther end A is fixed, K is equal to 4EI by L, where K is the stiffness of the BA at joint B when farther end is fixed, and EI is flexural rigidity, and L is the length of the beam. L is the length of the beam, and M is the moment at B. So if a condition when the end A is hinged, consider the both ends or one end is hinged and other end is roller. So what will be the deflected shape? If we take a shape of a parabola like this, that we have slope at both the points, theta A as well as theta B. Here the value of moment which we applied is 3EI theta by L. 3EI theta by L, which implies K is equal to M by theta, which is 3EI theta by L into theta, which is equal to 3EI by L. So we will be asking one more question regarding when the farther end of the beam is fixed, what will be the stiffness of the beam? And there will be some other options. And the correct option is 4EI by L. When the farther end is hinged, as shown in the second case, the stiffness of the beam will be 3EI by L. So next, moving over to the term carryover factor. Carryover factor. So for carryover factor, it is defined as the ratio of carryover moment. It is defined as the ratio of carryover moment to the applied moment. So let us see it with some cases. In no other cases, carryover factor should not be greater than 1. So here are some standard cases. Some of these standard cases. So consider a profit cantilever. So your person is support at the end and it is subjected to a moment M. So let L be the length of the beam. So what will be, if a moment M is applied at the free end, what will be the carryover factor? Carryover factor is equal to 1 by 2. This is the most important condition which is used mostly in moment distribution method. We will consider the far end as fixed and we will use the carryover factor as 1 by 2. When the far end is fixed, the carryover factor is 1 by 2. That is carryover moment divided by applied moment is equal to 1 by 2. Next, so when the far end is hinged, when the far end is hinged, the LBD length of the beam. When the far end, I'm applying a moment, so the applied moment is M. What will be the carryover factor? Carryover factor is equal to 0 because the moment at the fixed end should be equal to 0. So carryover factor for a far end hinged condition is 0. So here is a special case. So consider a Profit cantilever. With a hinge here. So therefore here it is a hinge and the distance is A by B. So here from the fixed support it is at a distance of A and the hinge is located at a distance of B from the free end. So the carryover factor for this condition is equal to A by B, where A is the distance of the hinge from the fixed end and B is the distance of the hinge from the profit end. So these are the three standard cases for the carryover factor. So you will be asking a question, consider a beam AB is fixed, AB both ends of this, what will be the carryover factor at end A? So the answer will be the carryover factor is 1 by 2. So next term is distribution factor. Distribution factor. So distribution factor is defined as the ratio of relative stiffness of a member to the sum of relative stiffness of all the member at the joint or total stiffness. Relative stiffness of a member to the total stiffness at that joint. To the total stiffness at the joint. So distribution factor is the ratio of relative stiffness of the member to the total stiffness at the joint. And here there is a hint. The summation of distribution factor for all member at a joint is equal to 1. Summation of distribution factor for all members at a joint is equal to 1. So let us see with an example. Consider a frame. So here it is in here it is in first end is fixed and end B is hinged and end C is hinged and end D is fixed again. So it will be end A, B, C and D. So the center be marked with. So consider a frame like this and there is an applied moment of M. Let moment of inertia be denoted by letter I and L be denoted, length will be denoted by the letter L. So let it be L1, I1, L2, I2, L3, I3 and L4, I4. So we have to find the distribution factor. So this applied moment M will be transferred in a factored moment like this. Here it will be get transferred as m1, m2, m3 and m4. So each member at the joint will contribute some percentage of the distribution, moment distribution. So consider in the same condition, what will be the carryover factor? So M1 here the end is fixed. The carryover factor is 1 by 2, which means the carryover moment will be M1 by 2. Similarly, here M2 the end is simply supported, which means the carryover moment is 0. Here it is hinged, end C is hinged. The carryover moment is 0, whereas here the carryover moment is M4 by 2. Hope you all get some clear idea about the carryover moment and distribution factor. Moving over to relative stiffness. Relative stiffness. So condition number 1. When the farther end is fixed, when the farther end is fixed, so we are looking from joint B and NC is fixed, which means the relative stiffness is equal to I by L. I by L. Second condition, when the farther end is hinged, when the farther end is hinged, relative stiffness is equal to three I by 4L. So while finding the distribution factor, well, these are the major terms which has much more importance. That is, when the farther end is fixed, relative stiffness is equal to I by L. When the farther end is hinged, the relative stiffness is equal to 3I by 4L. So consider the same beam. So consider the frame. Fixed at end A, hinged at end B, and roller at support C, and free at end B. So what is stiffness of OA? O is center point. From O I am seeing the farther end A, it is fixed. So the stiffness is I by L. OB, what is the stiffness about OB? From end O, I am seeing the farther end B, which is hinged, which means the stiffness is 3I by 4L. Next, OC. Here I am seeing point C, which is a roller support. So here the stiffness is 3I by 4L. And for OD, as the end is free, there won't be any stiffness, which means the stiffness of member OD is equal to 0. So these are the important points that you should be clear before preparing for a competitive exam regarding this moment distribution method. Next, we are going to move to slope deflection method. Slope deflection method. So you may have a 1 mark like find out which of this method is the displacement method. You know what is force method and displacement method. Moment distribution method and slope deflection method both comes under the term displacement method, because here the deformations or the degree of freedoms are the unknowns. So this method is also known as GA-Mani method. GA-Mani method. So in this method, the joints are considered as rigid. Rigid means when a load is applied, the angle between these members will be retained. So in the deformed position also, the angle between the members will remain retained. So this is the undisturbed position and this is the loaded position. In this method, the basic unknowns are joint displacement, that is theta and del. So to find this theta and del, joint equilibrium conditions and shear equations are established. Joint equilibrium conditions and shear equations. So the forces are found using force displacement relations, which are also called as slope deflection equations. So in a competitive exam point of view, we will be given a frame or a continuous beam, and we will be asking to find out what will be the slope deflection equation for the joint B, for the joint C. So you may have questions like this. So let us explain, let us see how a slope deflection equation is formed. So consider a member AB. So the fixed end moments BMF AB, and here it is MFB. So the slope deflection equation for this particular member is MAB is equal to fixed end moment, it is MFAB plus 2EI by L twice the angular
Near end, that is 2 theta A, 2 theta A plus theta B
minus 3 del by L. So for the same member, writing for MBA, so it will be MBA is equal to MFBA plus 2EI by L. So I am writing for this joint BA. So what is the nearer end? It is 2 theta B. 2 theta B plus theta A minus 3 del by L. So this 3 del by L, this term comes into effect when there is a sway correction factor. Or else we can say sinking of support. First is sway, which is in terms of frames. In case of continuous beam, there will be sinking of supports. So when there is sinking of supports, there we will using this slope deflection equation. So consider a beam ABC. So here the beam a joint B sinks by 10 mm. So what will be the deflected shape? So it will be like this. Here it sinks by 10 mm. So here, so consider here a anti-clockwise moment is applied, and here a clockwise moment is applied, which means here while using for AB, the sway correction factor will be negative. While using for the span BC, the sway correction factor will be positive. So let us see some small sums regarding these questions. Those are the points which we had discussed. So consider a beam, continuous beam. Which is fixed at end A and end D. And it is simply supported over ends B and C. Here it is subjected to 50 kilonewton. And here it is subjected to 55 kilonewton. 4 meter and 3 meter. And span BC is subjected to a UDL of 40 kilonewton per meter. So the span of AB is 5 meter, span of BC is 6 meter, and span of CD is 7 meter. So find the distribution factor for the joint C. For the member CB, find the distribution factor for the joint C for the member CB. So it's nothing but we are going to find out the distribution factor. We know how to find the distribution factor. So what is the joint? We have to find the distribution factor for joint CB in joint C. So for joint is C. What are the members connected to it? So look over the drawing. The joint C, what are the members connected? CB and CD. So CB and CD. What is the relative stiffness value? What is the relative stiffness value? For the CB, it is continuous, which means we can consider or assume the end is fixed, which means I by L. So which is equal to 0.17 I. Here CD, here also the end farther end is fixed, which is equal to I by L, that is I by 7 is equal to 0.14 I. The next step is to find out the total stiffness acting at that joint, which is equal to 0.17 plus 0.14, which is 0.31 I. And the distribution factor is defined as the ratio of relative stiffness of that particular member to the total stiffness acting at that joint. So the relative stiffness of that particular member is 0.17 and the total stiffness acting at the joint is 0.31. So 0.17 I divided by 0.31 I and I get cancelled and the value is 0.55. So here 0.14 divided by 0.31, which is equal to 0.45. So what is the question they have asked? What is the distribution factor for the member CB in joint C? In joint C, the distribution factor of member CB is 0.55. So here we have one more hint that summation of the distribution factor is always equal
1. Summation of the distribution factor is always equal to 1. So here in this being check 0.53 plus 0.45 is equal to 1. So in the same question, you may be asking, you may be asked to find the slope deflection equation for joint B. What is the slope deflection equation or equilibrium equation at joint B? So at joint B, what is the equilibrium equation available at joint B? So what is the extra moment acting at the joint? MBA plus MBC is equal to 0. So why we are putting 0? Because there is no any applied moment. If a moment M is applied here, then the joint equilibrium equation will become MBA plus MBC is equal to M. Summation of the moment available is equal to the moment applied at that joint. So for the given question, the slope deflection equation or the not slope deflection equation, the equilibrium equation of joint B is MBA plus MBC is equal to 0. So you will be having these kind of questions in GATE exam. So we will see fitness method and flexibility method and questions asked in competitive exams in the next video. Thank you.